So you liked it a little bit.
I liked it a lot. Oh, hey, hi, hello, welcome on in. Um, we are here with another episode of Indy by Night, Hunter Edition. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Really do appreciate it. We are on a little bit of a slim cast today, but as you know, life happens. But still, we persevere and burn Indy to the ground with or without the rest of this group. Um, so we're going to go around the room, introduce who we're going to be playing this evening, and what do you guys think about the ghost situation you guys got going on so far? We'll go ahead and start with Warren.
Hi, I am Warren. I am playing Brick. Brick likes to shoot things. He's not thrilled about the ghost situation, though I think at this point he would be very happy if that was the only situation we've got going on, because it seems like half the team is deeply tied to vampires.
Allegedly.
No.
Oh, okay. Uh, next up, we have Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob. I'm playing Jonas. Jonas is an information gatherer with a lot of faith in it. And yeah, the ghost situation is his favorite situation too, of the things that we're dealing. Though I think that he's a little unsettled because he thought that we solved it twice.
Maybe you did find different solutions to said riddle. And last but not least, we have Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm playing Katrina Trina Foster, and she is cautiously optimistic given the ghost situation. She loves to learn, inquisitive by nature, so picking up new intel and how we can deal with these things and potentially combat them is kind of all gravy for her.
Gravy, indeed. Spoken like a friend of a true cell chef. Um, so last time, you guys handled some different situations in a very effective manner. You guys were able to go ahead and break into this house um, and very quickly realized that someone had beat you to it. Um, where the mother and father of this family had been dispatched in separate ways, and the um, basement was turned into a horrible, horrible scene of different layers of flesh that had to be worked through, to say the least. Um, you guys were able to go ahead and help get Morgan out of the place before, as she was sort of sitting up and recovering a little bit. Very quickly finding out that Morgan's sister was down in the basement, which led to a lot of concern because the only thing that was down in the basement, according to Riley, was a vampire of nature, or at least vampire adjacent of some kind. Um, so you guys went and had some conversations with them, and she did give a quip to let Morgan know that the Baron sends her regards. Before Trina gave them a, not Trina, excuse me, um, uh, left the scene, and our good friend Jonah turned the place into a nice toasty barbecue. Um, you guys were also able to go ahead and make your way outside and talk to Kate, and Kate goes going ahead and take over the scene. And you guys went ahead and left, bringing separating the party as this group does efficiently. As Trina brought Morgan to the hospital to get looked at after her horrible new skin condition. And Riley and I think Riley, Jonah, and Brick all went back to Riley's place, where Caden, the roommate, was not in a very good mood, and seemed highly agitated and was almost evicting Riley from their own house. But luckily enough, after some quick work from the doctors, Morgan was released, and Trina and Morgan headed over to the house, where they walked in and sort of seemed to calm Caden down a little bit. Caden then did almost like a aggressive rush towards Morgan, and something appeared in Morgan's hands as Caden disappeared back into the ethereal. A ring that had a set of initials on it. You guys took a minute and look over to see who possibly the connection could have been between, and you come to the conclusion that this was Caden's ring from his previous life, being engaged and or married to why can I not remember her name off the top of my head? Notes are hard to remember, but we'll get there, I promise.
Madison Rice.
Thank you, Madison Rice. I knew it started with an M, I just could not remember the name. Madison and Caden. You guys quickly went ahead and called back to Kate and asked to go ahead and get that space, because you think that there might be some possible help being able to talk to Madison and trying to figure out what's going on with Caden, or try to give Caden some peace. And that's when Kate asked you guys, or asked Trina specifically, to stop by her office alone. As Trina in the background had heard, place is all clear. So that's where we're going to be picking up our scene this evening. If you guys had spent any willpower last session, feel free to put that back up. If you guys took any sort of superficial physical damage, you can regain your stamina amount back as well. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get ready to set the scene before Trina walks into the municipal building. Is there anything you would like to prepare, Trina, before walking in?
I mean, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can really prep. They're going to make me turn over any firearms, so there's no real point. So yeah, I'll just send a text letting them know I'm there. If they don't hear from me in a bit, come looking.
Understood. At this time, Riley and Morgan both have gone their separate ways to try and gather some information. Riley went to go check and see what sort of assets were left in their name from their previous owner and their previous life. And Morgan had to get some answers on trying to figure out exactly which Baron might have been trying to reach out. But Trina, you walk in, you go ahead, and you see this familiar face before, sitting at the desk that prints off your temporary badges. But something new happened. You don't have to go up and ask and gather or give them any sort of information or anything like this. There's already a badge that's being slid towards you as you're walking up.
This would look a little more official.
Yeah, it's not like a guest pass anymore. It's more like a returning visitor's badge.
Gotcha. I just give her a quick wink and pick it up off the desk and head to the elevator.
It does, instead of having visitor written on it, it does have advisor. So it looks like it's a temporary advisor badge that's being put out now. But it just has your picture on it and put on it, more or less just stuck onto the front of it.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Moving on up.
Congratulations.
I feel so blessed.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, walking into this government building.
Going into the third sub basement.
Exactly. And for the first time, you don't need anyone to guide you to the sub basement. It just sort of allows your key card gain access to that basement.
Nice.
As you look over from the elevator, as you exit down out of there on the correct sub basement, quite a few people are giving you confused or concerning looks, as they've seen you a couple times here now, but unescorted. And you see Kate sort of standing up and looking at her desk. It looks over to you, smiles and waves you on over, and continues to look at her little almost like projection-like monitors that are on her desk currently.
I'll kind of give the people who are giving me the look, a tight smile and a subtle nod and head directly to Kate. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've been here before.
Very, very fair. You walk over to Kate, and it is absolutely busy. People moving, chatting all over the place. The conversations are difficult to keep track of because everything's sort of just overlapping from just the amount of conversations that are happening on different subject matters. Kate looks, so what's going on, Trina?
Well, we were able to lay our hands on some information that relates to Caden that makes us think we need to have a chat with Madison, that they appear to be more deeply connected than anyone was aware of, potentially even married. He's very active right now, in a very agitated state. And when we inquired what was going to help him move on, that's when he presented us with this ring. I think he can't move on until he feels that Madison is safe.
And how long has, I guess, he been this active in this state?
We've seen him appear a few times. He's always been helpful. Whenever we've encountered the Mostros, we've had the benefit of he likes to communicate through music, so he'll give us warnings, heads up. He turned the volume up real loud to help make it difficult for the Mostro to track our movements when we were attacked last time. He's been very, he hasn't been hostile towards us. I mean, not physically aggressive. I mean, I could tell that he is at a point of frustration, given that he's dead and we haven't really made any headway on helping him accomplish whatever he needs to move on.
Go ahead and roll what's an awareness for me, DC 2.
Okie dokie. And I will go ahead and willpower two of those. Fuck. Nope.
Perfect. It's at this point that Kate sort of takes the conversation, and every time she's ever talked to anyone in your cell, it's been very professional, very eyes engaged with the person she's talking to, unless she's actively trying to show them something in a database or something like this. But she still tries to make the attempt to have that sort of connection. For the first time, you realize that Kate's stare seems to be looking past you almost, like looking through you.
I'll take a deep breath and kind of look over my shoulder.
In the reflection of the glass walls that surround this, you do see a sort of reflection of Caden.
Okay.
Almost looks like
he
he's
just
stuck in the glass.
have y'all taken Caden?
I didn't know that was Caden. No. One second. And she goes and like, is it like excuse herself around you and like walks out. And now she's just in the hallway. How there's like this very thin hallway between the glass box where the werewolf has been the last couple times and her office. She's in that hallway now. And Caden is between you and just in that thin pane of glass. Or I guess it's a little bit thicker because it is a thicker glass. But the glass between you and her seems to be almost like 2D pressed in the glass.
I'll walk up to it and breathe, like to fog it up,
Mhm.
and I'll write I, and then I'll breathe over it again and just see if that generates any sort of response, if it writes back.
You see Caden's eyebrows furrow a little bit, like he's getting frustrated, and then taps his ring finger.
I don't know. I think Morgan had the ring last.
I believe it was given to you because you went and
okay.
looked at it.
Perfect.
To look at it to get the
Yeah.
initials on it.
Okay, yeah, I'll check my pockets and see if it's still in there.
It is.
I'll pull it out and kind of hold it up like this.
He sort of just nods.
I'll hold it up to the glass.
He stops, and the frustration that he's had almost melts immediately as he begins frantically like looking around. And where you would normally see like the you know, for a 2D, you would expect it to go like flat almost. But it almost is just like it's a recaptured 2D image as he sort of rotates around, looking frantically.
Are you looking for Madison?
And he begins to sort of take off running before his image sort of disappears out of the glass.
I'll kind of dart out in the hallway and see if he appears on any of the glass out there.
He takes a look, and you look around. Doesn't seem to be, no. Is this... I know you say that he manifests sometimes. Does it usually manifest in this sort of capacity? And you get to see her immediately pull out her notepad and begin to...
It really depends. We've only seen a physical manifestation of him 2 or 3 times. Is Madison here?
Yes. That's what we need to talk about. But it seems, which is interesting, that he may be attached to that ring. So where you go, he goes.
Well, I think he can feel her because he's looking for her.
Well, it's I would like to test a theory if you'd be willing to help me with that, Trina.
I'll hear you out. I'm not going to say yes till I know exactly what you're thinking.
I would expect nothing less. Would you please mind following me?
Certainly.
And the direction that Caden ran towards is where she begins to lead you. It's sort of down that same doorway that had all the different rooms that were being filled with different monsters and different entities. She goes ahead and walks in after scanning her badge and biometric scans, opens it up, and leads you to the third one on the left, which is opened. Would you mind putting Caden's ring in here for the time being?
What's going to happen?
I don't know, but I would like to go and take you to where she's being held at. But I don't know what sort of problems may arise if Caden is running rampant around our facility. And ghosts have different ways they can interact with our plane with enough frustration. And I don't want any security breaches of anything else, because as much as you probably believe it, there's things that are far, far worse in here than a couple of lovesick ghosts.
I get the ring back at the end, though, right?
Of course.
I'll step inside, set the ring down. I'm going to look around and see if Caden manifests in the room or anything.
You don't see him manifest, but you feel a familiar sense of unease begin to wash over yourself again as you've begin to remember this feeling of not exactly being welcomed back at Caden and Riley's the last time you were there for a moment.
I'll be back, honey.
Can you roll wits and insight for me, please?
Sure thing.
This one's going to be a little bit more difficult at DC 3.
Good thing I have 4 dice.
So you're saying there's a chance. Well,
What the hell? We'll go ahead and...
I like it. Send it. Close.
It's okay. It's okay. They're holding till I need them.
Exactly. The willpower, not so much. The dice and the hits, yeah, they're holding.
Yeah. They're holding for when I need them.
Okay. You go ahead and exit out of the room, and she goes ahead and quickly presses the button, which you then see the glass door slide shut, and you begin to hear all sorts of different locking mechanisms take place in the sound of almost like a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear the very, very low sound of like electric buzzing.
So that's where you keep your containment unit.
Each one of these is a containment unit.
It's a Ghostbusters joke.
Oh, it's been a long day. Please continue. Follow me. And as you begin to take a few steps, you do see Caden's apparition appear and begin to like bang on the glass, and you begin to see every fist bang. He jumps back as you see an arc of energy arc around his fists, and he jumps back a little bit like he just got shocked.
Interesting.
I don't know your connection as she continues to walk with Caden. But if he keeps banging on that wall, I don't know what sort of connection that you'll have afterwards. It's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I don't really have much of a connection to Caden. I didn't meet him until after he was dead, so hopefully he'll play nice when we come back. Hopefully we'll be able to solve his problem and we'll be able to send him on his merry way.
It's actually sort of. Well, I guess you're dealing with it one way or another. We just get the. We don't work with a lot of cells outside of our organization. And it's always interesting to see the differences in how people handle the monsters on the other side. As she goes and gets to that second level of security and swipes her badge one more time and begins to scan her eye.
Well, some monsters are made and some can be redeemed. And that's our hope for Caden here. He's just a victim of circumstance. Got caught up in something that had no idea he was throwing himself in the middle of, and unfortunately, it ended up killing him. But I hope that what's keeping him here is the love for that girl and the need to see her okay. And that maybe if we can prove to him that she moved on, or they move on together and be reunited, I don't know. He's not a bad person, and he's not a monster. He was made one, so.
What I'm starting to understand, and this at the time she begins to put her hand on the biometric scan and finish out the biometric scanning, and the doors begins to click open and slide open. From what I'm learning as we've started our investigation with vampires and werewolves and other things that go bump in the night, she takes a couple steps through and invites you in before sealing the door behind both of you. A lot of things were turned into monsters. They didn't start that way. And it's just very interesting to see the morality of it all. We have a couple of vampires that claim they feed on blood bags, only claim they feed on animals to avoid hurting us. Makes you wonder if the people that are locked up for murder are worse than these things are sometimes.
Hard to say.
I agree. It's why we tend to capture here and not exterminate on site.
Well, plus you can't get as much data from a corpse, right?
Well, in the terms of a vampire, I guess it already is sort of one anyway. She sort of chuckles as she continues walking forward. And before you, you do see a rather large room. Both sides of this room, it's probably, I would say, about a 40 by 40 room, and 10 feet on both sides, sort of flanking this now almost hallway sort of situation, is a couple of, once again, thick glass with a computer on each side of it, with a tech working on each side. At the end of the hallway, you see what looks like a metallic pedestal that has a metal spike sticking out of the top of it and a metal ball sort of slightly placed on top. Madison and friends.
She says, pointing to the device.
To the device at the end of this corridor.
Shit.
That large suit
Mm-hmm.
does that. Anything that was living in that house and either didn't move on or was still residing is in that ball.
I'm assuming there's no way to extract one or the other. They're pretty much
No, it's
there
at
for good.
we can extract them, but it's at random which one will come out. It's like would be the similar effects of playing with a Ouija board and hoping you got the right spirit you're talking to.
So, were y'all able to catalog who these other spirits were before you hoovered them up?
4 of the 18, yes.
4 of the 18?
That's correct.
Oh, good lord.
But
Oh, my
and this is a reason why I wanted to talk with you, because you understand our business here. You understand what we're trying to do, Trina, compared to the rest of your cell, which may be more humane, as they might see themselves.
Well, Brick would have been fine.
I'm still learning. You can go in there.
Okay.
And it might be a little easier. Well, it's safer, at least for everyone else, because we don't know what spirit comes out of there if we let them out one by one.
So, are the spirits hostile?
Some were.
Oh, hell. And what exactly can I do to defend myself in there?
We could send you in with the suit, and it has the same sort of electrical technology that is inside of our containment centers. But the more that it's hit, the faster the energy drains, and the faster the energy drains, that's how you get back.
Are we on a clock?
They stay in there, as far as we know. The first one first prototype we have of this still has the same ghost in there from 5 years ago.
Okay.
But
Okay.
how would you like to be put into a ball for, as far as you can tell, the foreseeable eternity?
No, I understand 100%. I'm just thinking, this ain't my cup of tea.
I understand.
If we can get Brick on the horn, I can get down here and shit, he'll be, excuse my language, I am so sorry. He will be happy than a pig on Sunday if he gets to climb inside that big suit of armor. The way he was eyeballing it and licking his chops, it was like a dog looking at a bone.
And that might be true. I just also know that you have a charisma to you that might be advantageous
Gotcha.
to keeping the spirits calmer and not agitating you, or not agitating them, excuse me, to hit the suit, and then the battery gets drained. And then you're stuck on the inside. So while we are aren't on the clock of them going anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
we are on the clock of them becoming more and more aggravated the longer they stay inside this ball.
Okay. Fuck it, get the armor.
She looks over to one of the one of the reps, and they begin to start typing away. I do
You're gonna
have to
start
have you
limbering up.
sign some documents, and I do need to know if there's next of kin you need to meet to reach out to, because there is a very real chance, Trina, you do not come back.
All right, well, y'all better not put this. It's got to go somewhere because the whole reason I'm out here doing this nonsense is to keep these people safe. And if you're just going to slide it to some database that's connected to the photo of me that you have on your computer and somebody's going to be able to track these people down, you just undid 2.5 years of my life not seeing my family. So you got to make me a dead ass promise that it's somewhere locked down on a USB drive, tucked in a safe, not connected to any computer, because the thought of them being put at risk is not something I can handle.
Kate will knowledge as she goes ahead and puts walks over to the wall and presses a small button on it, and begins a little shelf sort of extends out of the wall a little bit where she could put her little tablet on, have it stand up on its edges, and begins to open up a more or less a very long NDA form. But then she slides a piece of paper next to it. And she leans over and gets very as close as you'll let her get.
Okay.
And she goes ahead and reaches in for a hug.
All right. I'll give her a hug.
Put your name in the database and put your family and put no next of kin and write down who you need me to contact, and I'll do it personally.
Okay. She puts the her name, Trina, into the system, and then no next to kin, and then I quickly scroll down the names of there's only 3.
Yeah, exactly.
But I kind of quickly scribble them down and slide it back over to her.
She goes ahead and, if you didn't know that there was a piece of paper there, very quickly takes the paper and the iPad and sort of grabs it all together and puts it all into her lab coat. And roughly about this time, you see a familiar face enter in behind as 2 guards walk in with a fully transformed werewolf with a large collar wrapped all the way around, pushing with seemingly ease. You've seen the box being moved by mortals, but a suit on a cart just being rather easily pushed and dropped into the room. And you see this individual look and smile. And man, you get to do their work without a collar on? That's nice.
I give him a wink.
And you see him get frustrated and almost like lunge towards you a little bit. Not like full lunge, but like take a step and like be in an aggressive manner. And instantly you see the guards press a button and red crimson begins to come down around the neck. And you see in the crimson a thin silver liquid
Oh, dude.
that pours
That's brutal.
down. You hear him fully wince, and you begin to see him sort of move his hands, almost like you do after you get a shot and you've just been injected with something. And he's sort of just moving his hands and just feeling the frustration as you begin to see his snout sort of teeth begin to bear up, but then closes once more and begins to turn around and walk out of the room.
Sorry that happened to you.
Kate looks over. I'm sorry it happened to you.
I was talking to the werewolf.
I know. She seemed to have no remorse.
I'm sure you've seen some things that that creature has done. It's just hard when they look like us, you know what I mean?
I am aware, but I've lost 23 people to that thing.
Then I completely understand you feeling the way that you do.
And as much as I would like to give him an IV of silver, I do believe that people can be rehabilitated with enough persuasion.
I don't know if what you're doing is rehabilitation or training.
Is there really much of a difference?
Yes.
I just see rehabilitation as training your mind to handle the outcomes differently than what you did prior to going into it.
Until the impediment to behave the way that you've been taught is no longer there. You can Pavlov a lot, but something tells me that animal runs deep.
And Kate sort of smiles before scratching her arm a bit. And I'm excited when that dog gets out.
Not.
She looks over to the people that are typing. You got that sent over to legal? Yes? Good. In all databases, as far as the Orpheus group goes, you are now being put in as a tester for this device. And what you're actually doing is being kept off the books. I
Put
will
me
go.
in, coach.
She goes ahead and presses a small button on the underside of the metallic, like of the where more or less the armpit would be of this metallic suit, and the back begins to slide open in different directions, almost like 3 different directions or 3 different layers, begins to slide open to put where you'll be able to stand into.
Does the face thing come up on this?
It does if necessary.
Okay, can you take a picture of me in it? I'd love to show Brick. He would be so jealous.
I would be happy for Brick to come down and to see the picture.
Perfect. You can take it on your phone.
I don't even have clearance to take a picture on my phone of it.
Oh, okay.
But she goes ahead and points up, and you do see there's a large black ball hanging from the ceiling.
He's going to be so mad.
Probably. But he
Right.
also could be well, he's going to be he could be mad for a couple of different reasons depending how this trip goes.
Just tell him if things go sideways that I'm a big girl and I knew what I was getting myself into.
You just told him yourself. We will show your cell the footage of all of this if things do go sideways.
Thank you. I'd hate for them to think I came down here and just disappeared one day.
I would hate even more to know that's true.
All right. Well, lock me in this Brotherhood of Steel and we'll go clean a house.
Yeah. A word of warning, Madison was the only human spirit that we found in there.
What? Wait, hold on.
She
Back
presses
up the train.
presses the button and it begins to seal you in. As you step inside, you begin to feel like blood pressure cufflinks wrap around your arms and your legs and sort of hold you there in place, but then you begin to see inside with the different miniature screens that sort of come up and pop up all over the place. One of them being biometrics that you can see is being fed to different instruments. But you go ahead and there is a button on the inside, or a setting on the inside as well. You can definitely lift up, and this front visor begins to slowly roll up.
Does this thing have a stereo?
It's got speakers, as you hear in the inside. You hear Kate's voice.
Can I patch in my MP3 player? Because I want some AC/DC. I feel like freaking Iron Man right now.
As fun as that suit is, it's more of like the one he built in a cave.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. And that thing had like rocket launchers and flamethrowers, all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay, so think about the one that he built in the cave without the weaponry. This
Look,
is
I'm lightening the mood, girl. That's all I'm doing.
I know, but I legally have to tell you there is no sort of defensive mechanism besides that shocking aura around you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do punch something, it will connect.
Gotcha. Okay, well, any last tips, Coach, before we go in? I should have went pee before I got in this damn thing.
You need 15% of your battery to get back, and it takes 15 to get there. So once you get in, you're looking at 70% to mess around and find out.
I have no intention to do that. I plan to get Madison to get the hell out of there.
Like I said, legally, things I have to tell you.
I signed the NDA.
I'm aware, but I also saying this because I have concern for you, Trina.
All right. Well, you're going to be able to talk to me while I'm in there, right?
Good luck.
Close the visor.
As you close the visor, you begin to see the exterior in front of you, as it looks like there is a camera on the outside of your suit somewhere. You go ahead and take a couple steps forward, and it feels awkward. Just and as you take your second full step towards it and sort of line up, you begin to feel pulled while still standing, almost like an elastic, before you get shot forward. And you have a bright light before you. As you look around, you just see nothing but darkness.
When I was in Madison's room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna think back on that cork board that she had.
Yep.
Is there any indication that she, I mean, given kind of her nature and personality, is there any indication that she was like into ciphers?
On a novice level, yes.
Okay. I will, like, if I like tap my foot on the ground, does it make a sound, or is it just
As
like
you
tapping on nothingness?
lift up and place your foot down, you hear a loud metal on metal sound that echoes very loudly in this chamber.
Okay.
You begin to
I'll,
feel a nudge behind you.
I'll turn around.
You turn around. You don't see anything, but you do notice, and you've heard the sound of the electric crackle that something had bumped into you.
I'll check my energy gauge.
You lost 2%.
Okay. I'll slowly kneel down, trying to avoid making more noise than necessary. And I will tap Madison out in Morse code once, just to see if I get any sort of response.
And I'm sorry, I gave you the incorrect reading. You realistically should be at 83%.
Okay. Good to know.
Sorry, I had to think about the 15 going in, because you did have full battery coming in. As you wait, you begin to see almost like a hex overlay begin to appear in front.
No.
And you begin to see what look like just drawings in green of different things that pass by. You don't see anything physically in front of you with your visor up, but you do see the outline of a green thing going across. And at first, it looks like a headless person. The next one you see sort of walk by seems to be another person, but you recall the disfigurement being similar to what was left of her dad's body that you had found.
Gotcha.
You're getting the sense, similar to how Caden was, that these spirits are stuck looking what they had happen in their last few moments.
They seem to be replaying their deaths.
Not necessarily replaying their deaths, but they're wandering, but they just, according to the outline that's being like more or less drawn in front of you, they are just, so like Caden was, every time he manifests, he has that like massive hole in his chest. So it's like just being manifested in the way of how they were more or less killed. Not necessarily reenacting anything, but they are just, so like the first person you believe would probably have been her mom, that which was found decapitated.
Gotcha. I'll give it like another maybe 3-5 minutes. See if I hear anything or if anything else kind of comes around.
Oh. A few things come around. Two of them being large scorpion-like
Oh shit.
entities that walk up to you, and you just have the outline of it. But then as it gets right into your face, it begins to sort of apparate head. And it stops right at the shoulders. It just sort of stops and looks at you.
I'm not gonna move. I'm hoping in the ghost realm that they still operate off of movement.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But after a few moments of you not moving, they disappear back into the darkness of the rest of this area. There's another familiar. This one is a full apparition walking across. And it's only part that you can recognize is their face for a moment when they look towards you, as it is a head, eyes, nose, and where a mouth would be is just a slit that was cut open. This would be the kindred that you had found in the basement before it was barbecued. You hear a sound of shrieking coming from the distance, almost like a scream of absolute terror. Female voice off in the distance.
All right, I'll head that way as fast as I can.
Okay. Boom, boom.
Which
boom,
I'm hoping
boom,
in this thing
boom,
is fast
boom,
as fuck.
boom, 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 boom. It still feels awkward, but it's either you're getting used to it or it's not as difficult to move in whatever realm you are currently in. I need you to go ahead and roll Dex plus Athletics for me, please.
You just want me to die, don't you?
I don't want it.
Don't lie to me, boy.
I wouldn't
Oh,
even-
3 successes.
Oh, you're insane.
As most as I can roll. Except for if I had exploded, but wow, that's a lot more dice than me.
Yeah, it is. As you're taking a run, you begin to feel yourself get hit from the side and sort of tackled for a moment. You look down at your gauge, 73%.
Oh shit!
As you begin to see a Monstero, a familiar looking one, bunch of bullet holes in it.
Oh. That guy. I'm assuming he's keeping pace with me.
As he sort of tackled you for a bit and you sort of drop down and he sort of runs past, sort of like more or less hits you and then continues to go. Doesn't seem to turn around or come back or anything like that. As he sort of hits you, he begins to sort of dematerialize once again.
Did it seem like he got shocked? Like,
yes,
when
you
the impact-
yeah,
Okay.
you definitely felt him, like you felt the impact of him hitting, but you also heard the loud and you felt when you got brushed up against the little shock that went through the first time. This one, it sounded like a full, like multiple tasers going off. So the
Yeah.
harder the impact, the more juice that was expelled out of it.
orders of magnitude higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hope this thing learned its lesson. I'll get back on my feet and continue to run. Are the screams still going?
They are. And they seem like they're getting closer.
Okay.
And you see and because you've seen pictures of her, you do see Madison running towards you.
Okay.
As well as about 10 other outlines chasing after her. So you don't see anything physically manifested, but you do see her physically manifested. But there are 10 other outlines that are chasing her, but she's almost acting like she can see whatever is chasing her.
Okay. Did Kate tell me how I'm supposed to get her out of here?
She sure did not.
Fuck. So I'm gonna stop because she's coming to me.
Yeah.
As long as the things aren't making gains on her, I'm gonna see if I can figure out, like, is there like a get the fuck out of here button or press when you're ready to leave? Not eject. I don't want eject.
Yeah. There is an eject button. You look at it, you're like, no.
Not the right one.
But you do see a button on it that does have a house on it.
Okay. But I can't grab her because I'll shock her. Is there anywhere
You
on
can
here...
grab her. It will
Is
just
there
shock her.
Where on here that looks like it would disable that field?
No.
Okay. Shit. All right. I'm just gonna run right at her.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about this.
You both run full speed and collide, and I'm assuming you're gonna wrap your arms around.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm slamming that home button.
As you grab on and slam the home button, okay. Please roll wits plus technology for me, please. Or wits and awareness, whichever one you prefer.
Well, what's the technology? I get one extra die. So
Well,
take every one I can get.
hey, there's one. There's a one there.
Okay. Willpower roll.
Yeah. Oh, you almost crit on that though. Can we talk about you almost crit on that willpower reroll? As you press
That's
the home, as you press the home button, you hear another shock on the back of your suit.
Okay.
You look down, and a familiar sense where you still see just the darkness around you, but you feel like you're being pulled backwards, and you get snapped. As you're mid-travel between these two realms, you look down and you begin to see your battery dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. You begin to see, you can see Madison's face in pure pain the entire time that this is going. But you have about 3% drop coming, well, you assume probably from holding Madison. You have the 15% drop from being sent back. But you're still getting another about 3% drop, as if something's holding on to you as you are being snapped back to where you went.
Do I have a time to, like, blindly swing over my head and see if I can smack whatever's holding onto my back?
You have a choice here.
Okay.
You can either do that, but also holding this ghost that's getting shocked is sort of difficult to do with one hand.
Gotcha.
So you can either take the swing at break whatever is hitchhiking, or possibly lose Madison in this transit.
She's what I came here for, so I'm not about to lose her.
Okay.
We'll just have to deal with whatever the fuck that thing is when we get back.
You head back. And you land in more or less the same spot that you had ended up in. You have about 40% battery left.
Okay. I will at this point, I guess, let go of Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can grab the thing on my back.
As you go to put her down and bring those heavy arms up, there's nothing there. And
we gotta run her!
At this point, we'll go ahead and switch the scenes to Brick and Jonas. What are you guys doing during this time after Riley and Morgan had stepped away for the time?
So what do you think they're talking about in there?
I don't think we want to know, to be completely honest.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's a shame that Trina brought the ring with her. I was thinking about maybe bringing it back to Madison's house, see if we can give it back to her.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. We should talk this stuff through more before we split the party.
You know, sometimes I think that, and sometimes I think that we talk to ourselves a lot.
That's true. That's a real good point.
Yeah. So I guess my plans were I don't think that we can afford to be active for a little bit. I don't. We made a big mess, potentially pissed off a bunch of buyers. I think that we need to spend some time letting them know about us.
Yeah, the number of big messes that we have caused in the last, I don't know, few days, few weeks is just way too high for my comfort. So I agree. We need to get some stuff cooled down and maybe focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah. I was thinking, I go back to my day job and use the people that I talk to try to identify some more information about our few folks of interest. Guys like Derek Brink down at the club. He seems like a loose end that I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm still confused just how many of these leeches are around.
Yeah, and
it seems like dozens or something. I don't know. That terrifies me. Maybe half of Indy is a vampire.
yeah, or knows one, as I think that we're sort of learning.
Or dating one, or a sister too.
Yeah,
you're not gonna tell me you're a werewolf or some shit, are you?
No, maybe a mage or something.
But those are real.
I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. I'm going to assume that everything is real until I find out that I'm wrong.
I agree. It's either all real or none of it's real, and too much of it's been real. So,
yeah.
You think there's aliens?
I'm going to believe it until I find out that I'm wrong. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that sounds like a good plan. What should I do?
I don't know. I guess. Do you have any contacts in the area that we might be able to? Feels weird to say since you're normally in the thick of it, but I think you've got one of the few folks whose faces aren't likely to be immediately on somebody's watch list.
Yeah, that's true. I try to stay out of watch lists just as a general rule. And no, I know somebody that can get us weapons, but I leave the figuring out mostly to Trina. I mean, I've picked up a few things here and there. I mean, I could maybe check my resources, see if I can figure anything out. But no, I'm not the research guy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'm just mostly thinking that if we need somebody to go and talk to somebody, uh, you might you might have an angle that we have so far not been able to use, if only because you didn't go and knock on club on the door of a pirate club or that.
That's true, though. I'll warn you, unless I'm cooking them food and talking over dinner, I'm not much for conversation or you know any of that.
Hey, play to your strengths. I think the people we want to talk to are mostly the folks that can eat a dinner. So
Do we uh, do we need to worry about Riley and Morgan?
yeah, yeah. Um, y'all brought up a lot of concerns about Riley that I think were pretty fair. Think that they're I think that their heart's in the right place, and I think they've done well lately. I don't know if you agree, but I'm feeling kind of similar about Morgan right now, where I mean, I get that it's messed up. It was her sister, right? But it sucks to find out like that.
Yeah. Although we've not been shy about being concerned about it, sort of openly about Riley. So what was she going to say? Oh, by the way, my sister's a vampire.
I know it had a little history. I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's all kind of tough. Um,
We gotta
I don't know what
gotta
our
figure
next
something
steps
out.
are.
I'm off my game. Honestly, we got too many monsters out there, and we haven't brought enough of them down. And when we do bring them down, it seems like we just turn up more of them.
Yeah, I mean, um, we talked about moving before, given how many folks seem to be here. If if Morgan's sister was open with her about that whole situation, maybe she can tell us if he is just popular with them or if it's this bad everywhere. Because if it's this bad everywhere, I think maybe our best bet is to do whatever we can.
How could it possibly be this bad everywhere?
I don't know. We didn't know that they were here until we started kicking the hornet's nest, so to speak. So
That's a terrifying thought, Charles.
I know.
We got to be more careful though. Whatever we do, we can't be going into stadiums full of vampires, ghosts. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever think about trying to tell the others about this? The police, the army.
I mean, as well connected, if they are everywhere, and it's not just Indy, they clearly have infiltrated all levels here. Who's to say they have it everywhere? And if
Yeah,
they
that's
have it,
fair.
what are we doing? Just sending snacks at the problem?
I don't know. I have to believe these things are predators, right? Predators don't survive if they outnumber their prey. So have to believe that we have an angle here just in numbers, if not.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the stuff we've seen him do, it's like magic.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Um,
Man, I got a gun.
I'm going to be honest; it's been doing fine so far. And did Trina bring the flamethrower back?
Not that I'm aware of. I think Trina still left that with you.
Yeah, and until Kate asks for this thing back, it points over at the flamethrower in the corner. Um, we got our own kind of magic. I'm going to cast fireballs all over this place.
I mean, I feel like that's a better plan than the gun. But I took one down with it, but I really think that was luck.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned somebody could you knew had weapons. Maybe it's time to get some bigger guns or a couple more of these things. I know that the Orpheus group has done fine by us so far, but I've talked to them before, and they rub me the wrong way. So I'd rather not be beholden to them. We can,
The shady government organization that hunts monsters behind our back is less than 100% forthcoming.
yeah, I know. I guess I didn't think about it before I said it out loud.
No, I mean, that's I don't want to know what they've got in their closets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But the other guys are turning people into closets.
Unfortunately, literally, that was. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna sleep well for ever,
Yeah,
forever after being down there.
but I don't think my guy is necessarily I can get you a flamethrower on the DL type of guy. The good news is making shit catch fire and explode is not that hard.
That's something that you know how to do.
I mean, I feel like anybody that can get an aerosol can and a lighter can make it happen.
Can you
Gasoline,
make it happen in a
cocktail.
way that doesn't light you on fire or put you close to where the fire has to be?
I mean, the flamethrower is not exactly safe.
No. I agree. I'm wondering if you can like set up a bomb or something.
Now I'm wondering if I could set up a bomb or something. I
We find
don't
out that Derek
think
Brink
so.
lives somewhere by himself.
I'm thinking more like Molotov cocktail. That's if I'm making something, that's the level of complexity we're talking about here.
All
But
right,
I mean, I
that's
could
fair.
see if I'm a little hesitant to ask my gun guy for C4. That sounds like a real good way to get on the FBI most wanted list.
Yeah, I don't think that walking around with a bunch of C4 is good for anyone's long term health.
Yes, be bad. But they're again sort of if all of this shit is real, werewolves. I know werewolves went down with silver. Silver bullets was a thing. There's got to be some kind of bullet or something that we can use to take down Kindred.
Yeah.
No, we don't call them
Well,
Kindred. Leeches.
Wrong game,
game.
wrong game, wrong game. Wait, hold on. Is Brick a vampire?
Yes.
today we find out that Brick is a thin blood.
Thin blood that is able to walk in the sun.
Um, yeah, I'll do some digging there. My experience with the Orpheus group is they've got $1 billion and very little. So I most of what I have is from rumors and ravings. But the thing that I've found to be true is that people tend to ignore folks like the folks who come to the Julian for help. And you can learn a lot by just not ignoring.
It's true.
So that's my plan: is figure out how we hurt these things, see if we can figure out where they live.
Yeah, I like that. Combined with see how much they know about us and just how deep we're in.
Yeah. My guess is pretty friggin' deep, but I don't know. Hopefully, they don't know about your cabin. I have to assume that folks know about the Julian Center. I've been there forever, but still a good place for us to hold up if we need to. Folks might know about it, but big. It's got access to a lot of facilities.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think where leeches fall on the relative scale of what we have to deal with.
I know. You remember when ghosts were our big problem?
Yeah, I do. Um, but it occurs to me that the scorpion things, they look pretty messed up and you know crafted, I guess. It's sort of the same shit that we saw in that basement. And if Morgan's sister was a leech and the leech was in the wall, then maybe the leeches don't like these scorpion things either.
I guess, but one of them was baking them, right? Or at least that's what it seems like to me.
Well, it seems like from what Riley said, it's they're not unified. It's like cliques and gangs and shit, right? So maybe there's just maybe one group is doing this and the other group doesn't like it, and I don't know which one's which. But Derek, for whatever else, doesn't seem like the type to turn people into wall art.
I suppose. Um, I don't know. I thought you were pretty opposed to the see if we could get in with one of the factions and play against each other.
Oh, I'm definitely opposed to seeing if we can get in with one of the factions. I just at some point we're gonna have to do order of priority, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if we can somehow figure out how to get them to take care of each other, that would be ideal.
So what do you think? Is this a try to do the most good at a time, or try to hit the targets that are least likely to get us caught?
Well, I think we need more intel, like you said, but it's it's feeling pretty asymmetrical, right? So we don't win a head-on fight. We don't win a war of attrition, right? We have to take the shots that we can take safely and get away, and it doesn't matter if that's the big shot or the little shot, or the shot at the scorpion or the shot at the leech, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to find where they're weak.
Yeah, I guess if I were to flip it the other way, I'm sort of asking if we're doing the knocking over gas stations version of this or the Ocean's 11. Because it feels like we've got two monumentally differently sized problems. It could be, yeah.
It does. Given the crew that we have, no offense, uh, I don't think we're capable of the Ocean's 11. I'm primarily not talking about us, but you know, we've got Riley's high a lot.
Yeah, the Scooby Doo metaphors came up, and yeah, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page.
But I also, before we go kicking over gas stations or whatever, I think we need to understand just how big the problem is, because if these things really are that powerful, eh, and we're just pissing them off, we should maybe not do that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, we got all the cars working again. I guess besides go home, get some sleep, start doing research. Anything you want to get taken care of?
Nothing that's real practical. I would really like to get to the bottom of what's going on with Morgan, but now is not the time.
All right. Well, if that's the case, I might hop in my car and see if I can go pick up Trina. Very least make sure that she's still alive.
Yeah, and that sounds like a plan. And I'll watch these two. Make sure we're not in too much trouble with them.
Cool. All right. Talk to you later then.
Yeah, be safe. Oh, are you taking the flamethrower?
No, for sure not. Yeah, no. If that can never be in my trunk again, I'd be very happy.
That's pretty smart. Yeah.
Do you mind if I leave it at the cabin? It sort of seems like the right place for it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Cool. Then I'll do that.
All right. Be careful.
You too. Nah. Gonna walk out.
Shoot his back and drink his blood.
Exactly. Welcome to the world of darkness.
The world of grim darkness.
Exactly. As we come back to the scene, Trina, you have just finished yelling that there was a runner. And as you begin to hurry and turn around and look, you do see the outline of the legs begin to go through the ceiling.
Yeah. Any idea or clue from the legs who it might belong to?
Someone in heels.
Shit.
That's all you could tell. You see Kate begin to panic a little bit and reach over and, hey, we need to do a lockdown. Code red. You begin to see all of the lights and the that are sort of on the side begin to spin red. And almost like the whole place sort of powers down a little bit. It doesn't seem like anything locks, but all go black and you have the red lights that are sort of spinning.
I'm gonna see if I can locate Madison.
Yeah, Madison is fully manifested in front of you, concerned. Because all she sees is this.
I have found Caden.
You see her sort of stop and sort of drop to her knees.
He's on that side with you. I'm sorry.
And you see her just bury her hand. No audible sounds, but you see her just bury her face into her hands.
Kate, can we take Madison to Caden?
What do you mean it's not here? can't have gone that far. Look, send a couple patrols out. Let's find this thing. Yes, we can, because we're sort of stuck in here for at least a few more minutes. Not in here, but in this division. We won't be able to go into like the main office area. It's on protocol lockdown.
But we can get to the cells.
Yeah, we can get to the cell area. We can get outside of this area. We just can't go back to like my office. But
Perfect. Let's see. Unite these two. So
yeah, let's try to get something good out of this, I suppose. Trina. You may want to say any words that you want to say to her before you reunite them. Because there's
Madison.
no telling whether or not they're going to disappear.
Madison, is there anything else you can tell me to help me with whatever the hell was going on in the basement of your house?
Did she do it?
She has a voice now?
She does.
Did who do it?
The lady in the basement.
Did she kill Caden?
Yes.
One of her pets did.
You see her sort of stare at the ground. And you begin to see her visage darken.
Oh, shit.
Bring me to Caden first, and I'll tell you what you need to know.
Sounds fair to me.
All right. And you see Kate worried. Visibly worried after the shift in visage.
Mm-hmm. I'm worried too.
She does ask you go ahead and take off the suit, though, because it doesn't quite fit properly with movement inside in the hallway. So she'll go ahead and you guys will exit the suit. And you guys head over to where Caden is being held at. And you see still Caden punching and punching and punching at the walls. And you see almost like where his sleeves were and is just like almost like blackened a little bit.
But like, Caden, hey.
He stops and it looks past you completely. You see him have a bit of a warm smile as he sort of puts down his arms. Kate will walk over and deactivate the cell as the two sort of hug. And they just stare at each other for a moment. And Caden disappears. You see the visage of Madison darken once more before she turns around and her eyes that were once like a bright blue are now like a deep, deep blue sapphire. What do you want to know?
What happened? Why?
Why? I don't know why. She came and visited twice, maybe 3 times my lifetime.
And then she just came to stay?
This is the longest she's stayed. I don't know if she plans on staying.
Well, the house, I don't think is going to be safe place for her anymore. I think she'll know that. We noticed there were tunnels underneath the house, some that led to your home. Is she the one who killed you?
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
I stumbled in the basement. And they couldn't let that stand.
Did your dad know that you were?
No, neither of my parents knew.
Really?
As far as I'm aware of.
We believe that your parents were both in service to that thing.
I know they had weird amount of love for a stranger that would only come around every so often. But service to that thing is news to me.
Do you have any ideas how we can stop it?
Flamethrower, fire, sun. But she mentioned when I was overhearing a conversation, she just had a procedure done and moved her heart.
Moved her heart.
I guess those things can do that. Because when you put a stake in them, they don't die, or as far as I'm aware of, they just sort of go catatonic. But sometimes they move the heart to make it more difficult for people to think or know where to stick them.
Did she happen to say where she moved it to?
I don't.
Shit.
There's a lot of things from that night that
No, honey, whatever you can remember, it's all going to be helpful.
I want to help kill her.
We'll take all the help we can get.
Then let's get going.
Do you think it'll help you find peace?
I don't know what will anymore. Because I'm going to be honest, the one thing that was peace was knowing Caden was alive.
Is there a tether for you?
She bows down and grabs the ring. This should work.
Okay. I'll take it and slip it on my pinky.
She disappears.
All right, Kate, honey, I gotta bounce. It's been a long evening and got some work to do.
Right about that time, the lights begin to power back on. The red light turns off. Well, that's lucky. Yeah, go for Cape. Yeah, get my gear. I'll head out. Make it 25. And that's where we'll go ahead and wrap up for this evening. as we pan away from our two different split cells, we see an individual standing over a body. The body is wearing a very nice black, pure black dress. High heels, black high heels. Long brown hair. Looks to be somewhere in her probably mid-30s. And you see another gentleman walking up, ties his hair back in a long ponytail, and begins to hold his hands out and begins to incite an incantation as his eyes go completely black. The room begins to fade, the candles begin to brighten before all being snuffed out immediately. And the body sits up. She cracks her neck a little bit, takes a deep breath in and out. Well, Miss Pachani, it's nice of you to rejoin us. She smiles. Thanks. Now, where's that bitch, Eva? And that's where we'll go ahead and truly wrap up tonight's session. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Really do appreciate it. We will be back not next week, as I will be out of town next week. But we will be back the following week with another episode of Indy by Night, Hunter, the Reckoning Edition. Thank you guys so much for watching our a little bit of a ghost hunt show going in. But we will see you guys again in a couple weeks. I hope you have a good night. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.